Hi guys, welcome to my channel and welcome back to something a little bit different. Now this is some PC gameplay for you. Those of you that know me, have been following my channel for a while, know that I'm a PC game player. I love keyboard and mouse, and so when this game came up, and it's a relatively new game, it's called Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. I'm sure most of you have actually heard of it, and it's a spin-off of the Lord of the Rings story. And you actually play the character, and you can see that the main character here I'm playing here, his name is Talion. I believe that's how you pronounce it, Talion. And at the beginning of the game you actually are having flashbacks, and what these flashbacks do is pretty much tell you the story of how you got to be who you are. Now when I say you got to be who you are, you I can't say that you're the undead, but you're certainly dead. And you'll see that later on in one of the clips that's coming up, that you actually do die, and somehow you're placed under a curse, and you team up with this other kind of ghostly looking apparition of a man, and together you set off to try and lift the curse. In the build up to that, the story allows you to do some training, so you get to do a little bit of sword play and everything. It just kind of teaches you some of the basic moves. My biggest problem was that because I'm a keyboard and mouse man, all the keys were set up for a right-handed person. I'm left-handed, and so I had to change all the key bindings, and some of them you'll have noticed in the clips gone by that I actually weren't using, and that's because I'd forgotten to set those keys up. And so I was struggling a bit just to do press the right key and everything. And my biggest problem was actually the mouse button. Being left-handed, the buttons switch round, and whenever the icon come up, I thought it was asking for like the right key button, mouse key button, to be pressed, and they actually wanted the left. And a couple of times I die quite quickly because it's like an end of scene death. What it does, it allows you to it's like a counter move when you're almost dead, and if you get it right and press the right key, you actually survive. And I think at least 2 or 3 times I've just pressed the wrong key because I just overly confused by the icons, and that's me. As I got into the game, I was able to work out which one they wanted. And anyway, just to bring us back up to speed here, the guy that you're seeing here, this kind of elfin looking guy, he is called the Black Hand, and he has captured Talion, his wife and his son, and proceeds to kill both the son and the wife. And you're now going to witness Talion actually die, and that's important in the story because there seems to be some sort of ritual going on here, and because of that, he seems to be under some sort of curse, and he ends up in a tower with this ethereal, ghostly looking apparition who says he's under the same thing, and says that the only way that the curse can actually be lifted is for Talion to go back down and to kill the Black Hand. I believe that's what he says, that the curse can only be lifted by the Black Hand of Sauron actually being killed. He has to kill him, and so I believe that's the first of the quests that you end up having to do. And and I'm going to refer to this as being a bit like Assassin's Creed, and you'll see why in a minute, because the attack and the counter moves and the way that you climb is all very, very similar. It almost looks like Assassin's Creed with a skin laid over it. But anyway, back to the story. Yeah, so you have to go back in and you have to fight. Now, obviously, as you kill people, that you rank up and you get things. You have this secondary weapon, which is this bow, and you can link that up. You're limited to the amount of arrows that you've got, and I have to admit they don't do an awful lot of damage right from the offset, which was a bit annoying because I assumed for these lowly little orcs that they would go down pretty quickly, but they didn't. And so you have to whip out your trusty sword. Remember which key to actually use to finish somebody off when they go down. You can see that big guy gets back up. I should have finished him off. I just couldn't remember which key I needed to do, and so I struggled a bit. And this is the very first part of it. This should be easy, but it wasn't. Well, this guy here, oh man, he was an absolute pain in the neck. He actually kills me 3 times, I think, and you can see he's taunting me because I've actually come back again from the dead to have a go at him. But by this time, I think I pretty got it down over my keys. My character actually has ranked up a bit more, so my power is a bit more. I'm dealing a bit more damage. This guy, you do the most damage actually when he goes down, and you see the little twinkling stars. When they go down, you see the little stars, and the idea is that there's a button that you can press that will kind of finish them off. And that big guy there, or one of the boss guys, the quickest way to take his health down is actually do that. So you knock him down, twinkly stars, and then do the final takedown blows, and most of his health will come off. So anyway, when you get into a fight, you'll see I'm actually surrounded by orcs, so you really have to look out for that counter strike, or the counter block icon popping up. If you can do that, you can actually survive quite well. And like I said earlier, it was very reminiscent of Assassin's Creed. You know, when you get surrounded by the enemy, you really only have to wait until the counter block icon comes up. Press that, and then go into to slaughter them until the block comes up again, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, and that's how you kind of just finish them off. Now, you'll notice when you kill a bad guy, I only just noticed this after killing this guy, that you get these little glowy things, which if you go along you can pick them up, and they actually add abilities to you. Now, it's abilities that you can add to yourself. You can pick up runes and stuff that will add strength to your sword, to your bow. So you have weapon upgrades, you have your own physical upgrades. As you move around the maps, there are also plants and stuff. So if you're low on health, you can find plants that you can use to regain health. You've also got that ethereal bow that you can use that needs powering up, and you can do that by sucking that. It looks like sucking some sort of life force out of your enemies. If you get close enough to them, you can press a key, and he will suck the life force out of the enemies. And so so you can quite quickly, well, I say quite quickly, rank your guy up. I certainly within a few minutes felt that my character had actually got a few abilities, power and everything was a bit more. I felt a little bit more in an even patch than when I first started off into the game. And like I say, I'm only into this. I haven't even found the Black Hand of Sauron to defeat him. I'm just running around, just trying to practice on these orcs and get an idea of what I need to do. Here's another one of the big boss guys. I say that these are worth killing because they give you the power-ups, and so I'll probably spend a bit of time hunting these guys down and trying to kill them, so I can get the runes, the power-ups, and everything, just to increase my my player. So that's the kind of the gameplay that you go through, and certainly for the first half hour or so of me playing, it seemed very much the same old. Run around, slash a few orcs, kill a few bad guys, try and power up your character. So what do I think of the game? Interesting. Now, I am not a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed because it just seems too much of the same. I like first-person shooters a lot, so I guess that's the reason why these third-person type of games don't really do an awful lot for me, and I don't really like them too much. Am I enjoying this? Not really. It's okay, but it's not. There is a phrase that we use. Does it float your boat? Well, no. It's not really floating my boat, and I think it's probably because I haven't really got into it yet. Like I say, this was the first quest, and I haven't even got to that. I'm literally just running around, not really sure what I'm doing. Kind of headless chicken type of thing. So I'm not overly impressed with it. Graphically, it looks beautiful. Probably a bit dark on my screen, and you might feel the same way when you see the video back. So I might need to adjust my settings a little bit. But graphically, it's beautiful. But gameplay, well, it just feels a bit of the same. And I've read reviews on the internet that also say that this is very much like Assassin's Creed. I think Batman Arkham, I think people have actually referred to it being similar to that. And so so very much a bit of the same, just a different story. That's all it is. Same sort of gameplay, different story. Is it good to use with a keyboard and mouse? I don't know. It certainly feels as though this was built to be a controller type of game. The amount of keys that you have to remember and have to do as you go through this really, you know, I'm almost wondering whether I should hook up a controller to my PC to play this game, and you know, maybe I would enjoy it more if I did that. I don't know. Anyway, for me, I'm not overly sold on it. You know, could I give it the sort of ratings that some of the reviewers out there, like IGN and some of the others? You know, probably not. But that's because, you know, but maybe I'm biased. I like my first-person shooters, and this certainly isn't that. You know, I think this is one of those games that, you know, when I'm bored, just want a bit of a change, then I might play it. But for me, no longevity, and you know, I certainly won't be putting a lot of hours or time into this game at the moment, unless something changes. Well, guys, I've rambled on enough, so I'm going to kind of leave it there. You're either going to like what I said, or you'll disagree. You know, so why don't you leave a comment? You know, let me know what you think. Leave a like button. You know, share this with others. Let's get there. You know, let's see what other people think. And certainly, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, why don't you do that? You know, I love to put up these reviews. I like to think I'm biased, but you know, you like what you like, and you dislike what you dislike. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you later. Okay, we'll see you later. Okay, bye.